Hey everyone, it's Celeste and welcome to my booktube channel. I have not kept up with filming. It's just been, the start of the school year is really hard, so I just haven't really, been great with it. So anyway, I'm here to do a Saturday Bookish chat. It is Saturday. It's kind of late Saturday, but here I am. Better late than never, right? I did not film. I don't think I talked about things I read in August. I don't think I talked about, some of my more recent reads. Like, it's been a while since I've even filmed anything. I did film a vlog and I just needed to edit it and upload it, and I just didn't get around to it because sometimes I would feel like overwhelmed with the things that I needed to do, and then not like I would look at computer screens for work, so then I wouldn't really look at computer screens for pleasure. But I have been reading. I just checked and I am at 76 books for the year. So I'm doing great as far as that. I had set my goal for this year at like 60 books, and I passed that up, but my goal still stands at like reading longer books. So I set my goal low in order to read longer books that I was avoiding. And I think that's going well. I've been tracking it each month, and it seems to be the trajectory that I'm on, like ever so slightly. I do have a couple of large books that I need to pick up still before the end of this year to really make me feel accomplished in that. So tomorrow is the official end of the Book Bitch Literary Society Summer Bingo. So we started it sort of in May, and then we're ending it tomorrow because that's when we meet again. And I have a book. Look at this book. Look, I have just these few pages. So I technically am not done with it, but I'm going to finish it before I go to bed tonight. And it is the true crime book. And I'm like, it's good, it's fine, but it's like, to read something about this, I had to be in the right headspace. And so like on days that I just did not feel like I was in a good space for it, I just didn't push myself to read it. But I am going to finish it. Like, I've that little bit left, so I am going to finish it before I go to bed. So looking at my bingo card, it looks like this. When I finish the Alice and Gerald book, it will go in this corner right here. So I don't have a bingo. Like, I didn't really read in a line of any sort, so like I guess I kind of failed at that. But I did read quite a few. Like, I'm not mad at it, and I have other books that I started but that I didn't finish. So for example, for this one, for a book by a favorite author, I'm about 53% done with How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. Grady Hendrix is one of my auto-buy authors, and it came out in January, and I've had it on my nightstand. I read that first 50%. I read it in one weekend, like sort of as like I was feeling stressed, and so it was like my anxiety thing that I just was reading. And I read that at the beginning of September, but then things have gotten busy and I haven't picked it up. And it's like a book about like haunted stuff, and it has body horror and things like that. And so it's not something that I can read right before bed. So some books that I can read right before bed, I don't read a book like that right before bed. So I'm not going to have it finished by tomorrow because I still have another like 200 pages left of it, because I think it's like a 400-page book. But yeah, like I was working on some books that would have covered some of these other spaces. But yeah, I'm not mad at it. I mean, I don't know if I was more successful than last year because I don't remember exactly what I had accomplished for last year's, and I really don't want to go back and look at my Goodreads and try to figure it out. So tomorrow at the meeting, we're going to talk about and look at are bingo cards. And so I'll take my bingo card with my little tabs, and these are just Post-its, so like the actual prompts are underneath, and these are just Post-its I can move and show, but and we'll talk about that, like what we accomplished and what we read. And I still have a lot of those books that I had picked out initially for all those TBRs. I still have them on a shelf, and I think I'm going to leave them there and just kind of keep them on a sort of priority list, and try to go towards them. But for the meeting tomorrow, besides going over our bingo cards, we're also going to pick a new book. Like we didn't, when we met in June, no, scratch that. When we met in July, we didn't pick anything to read. It was like, hey, we're all working on our bingo cards, so let's just work on whatever we have on our bingo cards. Because all our cards were different as far as, in fact, there were more prompts on the generator than there were actual spaces in the card. And so not all our cards even had the same prompts. So there was that. So we didn't pick anything because if we pick something, it might work for somebody's card, but not somebody else's card. And that was not the priority at the time. We never hardly meet in August because August is the beginning of the school year here in Texas. And so some of us are teachers. Others of us have, children, and we're like really focused on getting all those routines and stuff set, so we don't really mess with that. And so this is the first meeting in a while that we're gonna pick a book, and our theme, we a lot of times we have themes as far as like the kinds of books that we're gonna suggest. And so like sometimes the themes go around with like if it's the recognition of a group, like in June we almost always pick out like LGBTQIA plus authors or stories, because that's just, what we're kind of leaning into for June. Or like other times when we are like picking out books for specific genres, like we've done cozy mysteries, we've done true crime, we've picked out romances, especially romances like closer to like Valentine's Day or in the spring fever or whatever. But anyway, so this month, tomorrow's meeting, we don't have a theme per se, but I think that some of us are going to lean more into like spookier fall feeling books, like transitioning from the kind of things we read in the summer to like the kind of things we're going to read in the fall. And like we also have the situation of like sort of, I know in my mind, like I have been burning fall candles and sort of, like drinking pumpkin spice because I'm trying to manifest this fall state of mind, even though our highs are still getting into the 90s because that's where we live. And so anyway, so I wanted to show you guys what I'm going to suggest, because I'm going to go ahead and post this. So if any of my book bitches watch it, they'll get a sneak peek of like what I'm going to suggest tomorrow. But I went ahead and picked out like a theme for our little, like we kind of have I wouldn't call it a bullet journal, but it's sort of bullet journal directional. I use like the washi tape and all that, and so I got that set up today. And then I picked out the things I think I'm going to suggest. And so I think I'm going to just show you guys here this of the things I wanted to suggest. So the first one, I got them stacked up. Look at all these books I have stacked on the back of this couch. It's crazy. So the first one that I'm going to suggest tomorrow is Rules for Vanishing by Kate Alice Marshall. So this book got on my radar a while back because Kayla over at Books and Lala was talking about this book, this specific book. And so I think I got it on like a discount. It's got a discount dot. So I think I got it at like a discount website a while back. And it has to do with like I think there's like a ghostly visitor, like somebody's sister wasn't, I think there's ghosts. And there's like every year there's like a recurring thing. I'm really into that. And then also what made me want to pull this book off the shelf was that Alex at Alex Black Reads read a different Kate Alice Marshall book and talked about it and really gushed about it, like really said really promising things about that particular book on her channel on a video not too long ago. And so I was like, you know what? Kate Alice Marshall, like that name sounds familiar. And I went and I looked on my shelves. Sure enough, I had this book. And so I'm going to suggest it because I think that it is, you know, like spooky, kind of like fall feels like a good time for reading this. And so I pulled this down. But yeah, I think it has to do with like a sister that's disappeared and this idea that you see the ghost and something bad happens to you. And that really, that's something that, like, I don't know, like my age group where you would go into bathroom and like do Bloody Mary, or like we told ghost stories to each other, and one of the real popular ones was about like seeing ghosts on the side of the road and stuff like that. So anyway, this is one that I plan on suggesting, and I'm suggesting it because of some booktubers that I admire. Another one that I'm going to suggest tomorrow is because of an author that I really like, and it's a book I've had on my shelf for a while. I think I got this last year as like a Christmas present from someone that I really care about. This is The Project by Courtney Summers. Courtney Summers wrote, and it has it here down here on this, Sadie. Sadie was so heart-wrenching to read, but also very like wonderfully written. And so I really think that this Courtney Summers book might also be something that I'm really into. This has to do with a cult. So I think it has to do with like someone's relative or, you know, close, someone that they love getting sucked into a cult, and so they're going into the cult to try to like get them out or save them or what have you. And so I'm really interested in like cults are one of those things that really interest me. So when I see like documentaries and I see books and things about it, I'm like, okay. And I know that Courtney Summers, having read Sadie, I know that Courtney Summers' writing can just be really like amazing, especially in tough topics, I think, like a cult or like this kind of situation. So I'm going to like suggest it. I've had it on my shelf. I should have already read it, honestly. Another one that I'm going to suggest tomorrow is Hunterland by Dana Clare. And I have like a foiled edition. This edition has like all the sprayed edges that are really beautiful, and it also has the pretty end papers and the foiling on the special cover because this came from an Unplugged book box. So this one is got paranormal things, and basically it's like the world has monsters in it, sort of like what you would see in like Supernatural, right? Where you got like Dean and Sam Winchester like going out like the family tradition, like hunting monsters and trying to save people and stuff. And this is sort of in a world that's like that, where there's monsters of some sort, and these that like groups of people are like hunters, and they're like trying to like take care of people and things like that. And I think that this is where like some hunters help other hunters. I also think that it's a YA book, I think. And I think it's also like a little bit more of like a independent publisher, like independent author. It's not very long. And so anyway, it just felt like this time of year would be a good time to read a book like this. And I have like, it's such a pretty copy. And so I figured I would make that one as a suggestion. Another one that I picked is also one that I got from Unplugged book box. And this one, I think, is an adult book, not a YA book, but it is Her Majesty's Royal Coven by Juno Dawson. I had gotten it and put it to the side, and then I think I saw someone's review on Goodreads, and they gave it a positive review, and then I was like, oh yeah, I have that book, because, you know, we do that. And this one is about witches, and the witches were like, it was like a group of witches, like who were friends when they were younger. There was like a falling out. They kind of grew apart, went their separate ways. But her Royal Majesty, like the Queen, had like a situation of like where she organized witches, and I think there was like their band is getting back together, like that kind of theme. And so also this cover is just really cool. I really like it. And so I'm really interested in like witchy is, I'm getting into the time of year where it's like witchy stuff is good. So I think this would be a good thing to suggest for this month in this meeting. The other one that I'm going to suggest, I almost always suggest at least one book of the month book. And so I have pulled down Lone Women by Victor LaValle on my, from my book of the month shelf. I have a shelf where I keep all of my book of the month books that I haven't read yet. This one I think is horror. It is about a woman. It came out in March. From book of the month. It was one of my March selects, so I really want to get to it. It's been on my shelf for a few months, but it is about a woman. I think it's set in the 1800s. No, I take that back. It's set in 1915, and she is traveling into the West, and she has like a trunk, like one of those big steamer trunk things that she's with her. And I think there's issues of like race and feminism and things, but also horror, because like what's going on? Why has she got this trunk? What's in it? What happened? And so I feel like this is a good time of the year for me to maybe get to this book. And I always suggest at least one book of the month book, just to kind of like, I don't know. Some of the other ladies have book of the month books, so, and also, you know, they're accessible books. And so those are the 5 books I'm definitely going to suggest. I did pull an Alice Hoffman book down off the shelf, but I don't know if I'm going to suggest it. So I'm not even going to show it to you guys. But like, again, Alice Hoffman writes like witchy books, and I think a witchy book would be a pretty good thing to read right now. So anyway, that is all that I wanted to kind of talk about real quick. And you know, maybe post a video so y'all know that I'm still here. I'm alive. I'm okay. It's a little stressy, little stress spaghetti going on in my life. Going to a lot of football games and things like that. I'm thinking of just doing a vlog that's just clips of just what things that have been happening or whatever. But I don't know, because I don't know when I would edit it, because time, life, whatever. So anyway, thanks for watching. I am around, and I will try to keep posting and do a little better with that. And if you like my content, please like and subscribe. That lets me know that you want to see more from me. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.